What is going on, guys? They call me Ampy. Welcome to another video on the channel. Today we got some old school Destiny gameplay that's been sitting on my hard drive for a very long time. A couple months back. I've definitely made some progress since this was recorded. Enjoyed the gameplay for what it is. I don't post a lot of Destiny even though I play a ton of it, so I absolutely love the game. Sure, it's got its problems, but for the most part I'm digging the DLC. Pre-ordered that Taken King for September, so that's going to be all fine and dandy. But today I wanted to talk about giving people shoutouts on YouTube or on Twitch, you know, whatever social media it is, and just I wanted to give you guys an idea of why it's such a bad idea to go about giving shoutouts or receiving them and even being rated to an extent. It definitely does help in some aspects of social media, but for the most part I just want to talk about why it's a bad idea in general. People ask me all the time, you should give me a shoutout. Don't you mind, you know, helping another kid out? I've been at the bottom of the barrel. I know what it's like to have one viewer or two viewers or even one view on my videos and just struggle a little bit just to get an audience. And you think it's a good idea to get a shout out. Sure, a larger YouTuber or somebody like that is giving you some exposure that you maybe might actually desperately need, but it's not helping you in the long run. And I want to give you guys an example. So let's say Mr. PewDiePie, Mr. Famous PewDiePie Man, decided to shout me out for some strange reason. He came into my Twitch channel or he shouted out my YouTube channel. Will I grow a little bit? Yes, I will gain a few subs. I will gain some followers. Of course, it'd probably be a lot of followers and subs because of just the massive audience that dude actually does have. But the problem is that they are going to identify me as PewDiePie's friend, PewDiePie's apprentice, I guess. You're kind of living in the shadow of the person that shouts you out. You never really grow to be your own identity, and you can't really branch off and be your own brand. You're always going to be associated with PewDiePie, so you're not getting your own fans, number one. Number two, you're constantly living in the greatness and success of somebody else, and excuse me for really just I want to push myself into my own direction of success. I'm not saying you can't have some help along the way, and I'm not saying you can't take tips from other people, but if you're really just desperately trying to take viewers from somebody else or shout yourself out in somebody else's Twitch, it's not helping you. It's really not helping you. You want to grow yourself in your own way, doing your own thing with your own style, and people are going to come to you because they like you. They're not going to come to you and stay there for very long if PewDiePie shouts you out, if I shout you out. I'm not that big, but you guys get the point. My viewers come to my stream because I'd assume that they dig me in one way or another. And of course, if I shout somebody out, they'll give you some attention, but for the most part, I don't think that they'll stay. Sure, there's the exception. There's exceptions to the rule all the time. People tend to like some people. People tend to not like some people. But if you're not being you and you're not doing your own thing, then they're not going to be your loyal viewer base. That's really what you want. It's not about followers. It's not about subs. It's always about views, guys. You don't understand. Views make or break the streamer and the YouTuber. If you don't have views, you're really not going to be that successful. So when somebody else shouts you out, sure, you'll get the views, you'll get temporary views, you'll get some peak views, but they're not long-term views. It's not a stable viewership, and it's going to hurt you in the long run. It's not going to help you grow. And this 110% applies to the recent rating that's been going on in my Twitch channel. If you guys haven't been following me for that long, you guys are new. I have been rated a couple of times now by another streamer. He has about 15,000 followers. His name is Saeed Black, and I appreciate everything he has done for me. He popped into my stream randomly, and I'm very grateful for the exposure that he's given me. But again, this absolutely applies. When he rated me, my viewers peaked for like 10-15 minutes to over 100, and then as they started to see that I wasn't Saeed Black, I was only associated with Saeed Black, more people started to leave. It dropped down to 90, it dropped down to 80, 70, 60, until I was actually at what I usually stream at, which is about 30 viewers, give or take, on the day. So yes, I did gain some followers, I did. There was some peak in my viewer activity, which is great. You know, I appreciated that, and I appreciated the exposure, but those people 9 times out of 10 aren't going to stay. Of course, there are exceptions. I met a lot of people from Saeed Black's Twitch channel. A lot of new guys coming from his Twitch are now actually active in my Twitch. That's great. But aside from a couple of people, for the most part, they are totally dedicated to Mr. Saeed Black. It's not my viewership. And I'm not trying to steal his viewers. It was something that he did for me, and raids are awesome, and they're very spontaneous and exciting, but in the long run, I'd rather grow myself, and I tell everybody this. I'd rather work for it myself, grow a viewership with fans that want to see me for me, instead of having somebody boost me along the way. that's just the way I am. Maybe some people don't do it in the same way that I'd like to, but I'd like to keep a clean slate, I'd like to do my own work, and eventually it's more rewarding in the long run, I think. If I look back on all the progress that I've made, I could say to myself, you did it yourself, and that's just a really rewarding feeling, and I think a lot of people miss out on that. It's a ride, and it's a ride you're going to take with some people, but for the most part, I'd like to have you guys try and do it on your own, because it's just an awesome feeling when you can make that progress and say that you really deserved it. And I know this was long, but I appreciate you guys watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. I've been Ampy. I'll see you guys in the live stream.